And my favorite part about this episode, desserts. And she was overwhelmed. They kept coming from every direction. I was overwhelmed. Give me please some. Well, I have to be honest, I love desserts too. Did you know Dua Lipa speaks French? The way we dine tells a story about us. And just by looking at Dua Lipa, I can tell you a few stories about her. And I'm not an expert. The French onion soup is the French medicine for a hangover? This chef is a magician. Well, I think there's no question here. True class just shines through. This woman is elegant even when she's making elegant mistakes. Here we are with another rather unexpected episode of Lady Captain, and today we'll be talking Dua Lipa. Why? Because Vogue just released a video about Dua Lipa dining in a Michelin-starred French restaurant. Why do we love Dua Lipa? Well, she's an amazing artist. Also, she has such a high sense of fashion and style. And now we'll do a reaction to her elegance, etiquette, and table manners. Well, we have to give it to Dua Lipa. She really knows her manners with the napkin. She gently placed it in her lap, just as she's supposed to do, and she really took care of the napkin throughout the dining experience. Ladies, what is the napkin about? Some people start using it as absorbing if something gets spilled. Some people are really wiping their dirty fingers. But in fact, the napkin is to protect your clothes. This is an elegant accessory that is there to protect you, and nothing else and nothing more. And if you're using a napkin at home, it becomes very apparent. And I believe Dua Lipa is. Because when you're using those cloth napkins at home, you don't wash them after every single use. Back in the days, and we're talking about Downton Abbey era, every member of the household had their own napkins, and they had a place where they stored them. And in the evening, they're given away. So, ladies, throughout the night, when you're in a restaurant, take care of your napkin. The sole purpose of the napkin is to protect you. And once done with your dinner experience, make sure to gently fold it and place it on the left. Remember, gently place the napkin on your lap. Throughout the evening, after each course, make sure to gently tap the corners of your mouth, just to make sure you're presentable throughout the evening. And Dua Lipa did it exactly per book. Watch and learn! The opening scene of this video is the first course arrives in rather unconventional serving. Dua Lipa reserved her very first serving on her hand. It was some combination between many different tastes and on top with caviar. And she was encouraged and invited to lick it off her hand. I guess she took it quite well and she went for it, and I think she enjoyed it. But ladies, if you're not comfortable to do that, there's no problem. You can always ask this course to be served on a plate. And I think the idea of the chef was that all the flavors needed to be consumed all at the same time. And when served in this unique way, you had no other choice but to take it in one bite. So if you're ever presented with a small bite with a lot of different flavors, make sure to take it all at once in order to have a full benefit and full appreciation of a course like that. And Dua Lipa did quite a good job. As they say, the warm temperature of the human body brings out the flavors of the caviar. However, if you're not comfortable with option A, you can always opt out and go for option B, as I'm demonstrating for you right now. Option A, sure, is the unique, the authentic way, but option B is the traditional and rather the elegant way. Another course that Dua Lipa was encouraged to participate was traditional French onion soup. And before she started her experience with the French onion soup, we learned a rather interesting story about French onion soup. The chef told the story that whenever French people go and party and especially when they party too much, the very next morning, in order to rebuild themselves and bring themselves back to life, they have a French onion soup. So next time when you had a little too much to drink, don't hesitate to start your day with a traditional French onion soup. So going back to Dua Lipa and consuming truffled French onion soup. Well, we had to take a little points here from Dua Lipa for holding her hand like that in order for her soup not to drip. Ladies, there's no need to do that, especially that she had a napkin protecting her clothes. The most elegant way to consume soup is from the inside out, then wait for a second to drip, only then lean very minimal, and then take the spoon to your mouth. In that case, you have nothing to worry. You're very much protected. Enjoy your soup in a small little portion without rushing. So your soup would drip only if you're rushing. If you take your time, you'll have no problems. Just remember, from the inside out, slowly lean forward and take it to your mouth. Dua, you were doing so well with the napkin. Why did you have to hold your glass all over the place? Ladies, the most elegant way to hold your glass is by the stem. And there is a simple explanation about that. When you're holding it by the body, you're simply changing the temperature of your wine. So always, always, always make sure to hold your glass by the stem. Chin chin! The way we dine tells a story about us. Make it a good one. What I mean by that? For example, depending on what part of the world you are, certain etiquette habits can give you away. And again, what do I mean by that? When you're enjoying your meal and it's time for a pause, the traditional way for etiquette is to pause by leaving your fork and knives on the inside of your plate. However, if you grew up the way Dua Lipa did and myself in Eastern European bloc, we are very much taught to pose like this. So this is very telling, this is very giving. So I don't know if you know, but behind this beautiful English accent that Dua Lipa has, is hidden a history moment. A little details like this can tell us a lot about her family history. Everybody can break an etiquette. If this is something cultural and you enjoy, please be my guest and keep doing that. However, I believe you should only break a rule if you know it. Something else that we saw that Dua Lipa was constantly doing was, I guess she was overwhelmed. There was so much going on at the table. She was showered with attention from the chef, from the waiter. The camera was in her face. So she was a little bit shy. So she was constantly covering her mouth as she was trying to speak. However, in a real life situation, especially at the formal events, ladies, don't ever try to speak with full mouth. Just finish, and only then, just place your cutlery in a pose position and take a break from eating. If you're an event, you're at a social event. After all, if you're out at dinner, you're in a social setting. You're there to socialize, not to get full. So always take breaks and make sure to speak to each partner, a little bit to the right and a little bit to the left. And try to avoid speaking with full mouth at any cost. Well, another rather adorable habit that Dua Lipa has, make a point to watch the full episode and you'll notice that Dua Lipa is an emotional eater. As she tells herself, she's very much a foodie. Growing up, she didn't have many choices. But now that she can indulge, she really enjoyed the process of trying a lot of different things. And she's trying them not only with her mouth, but truly with her heart. And this is a lovely experience, lovely thing to observe, but try to keep the sensual noises to a minimum. she was making a lot of noises, and I do not exaggerate. And perhaps she was exaggerating, just trying to show appreciation of the food that she'd been presented. However, when in the normal circumstances, the emotional, rather sensual noises are to be kept to a minimum. Perhaps you can take it a little up the notch in your house, but not in a public restaurant. And my favorite part about this episode, desserts. And she was overwhelmed. They kept coming from every direction. I mean, I was overwhelmed. Give me please some. Well, I have to be honest, I love desserts too. Them coming, chocolate cake, a mousse, a cookie. So obviously, Dua Lipa was doing a little bit of an exaggerated emotional reaction as the chef was bringing the courses, as the chef was showering her with all different desserts. However, one rule to remember is never lift your plate. So obviously, very rare we'll have 1, 2, 3, and Dua Lipa had probably 6 desserts in front of her. However, try not to leave anything, try not to feed anybody, just keep it simple, elegant, understated. Less is more with elegance.